All right, let's put our conversation on the road for you, everyone. 2025, many people have said, was historic, of course, a very trying year for Nigeria, both for the government and for the people, whether you're talking about the economy or the challenge associated with insecurity. Now we've turned into another year. 2026 is the sixth day into this year, and there are people who strongly believe that those big events from the year before will shape this country across many fronts. And to think about how that this is also an electionary year for Nigeria, again, that's a big conversation on the front burner for not just the media, but of course for Nigerians everywhere in the world. To help us find sense in these developments and what the implications are for the people of this country, we're joined by a politician, a political thought leader, and someone who has also had a shot at being the governor of Ogun State. I would like to say it's a delight to have Showunmi on the program this morning. Thank you for coming.
Good morning. It's nice to be here. My favorite people in the year.
Nice. Thank you for being here.
Happy New Year to you.
Yeah, same to you. Happy New Year, Nigerians.
All right, let's begin with the new year, of course, but we can talk about this new year and also look at some of the big things from last year. I mean, politically, we saw defections, governors defecting with their base, and people said this is more like unprecedented in the political history of Nigeria, and they said it will have serious implications for this country. In fact, there are those who now say that it is an attempt by the ruling All Progressives Congress to turn Nigeria into a one-party state. What are your thoughts?
Thank you. It's a very important thing you want us to talk about, but I would like to give you some context.
Okay.
We started this democracy in 1998 and did the first election in 1999. Essentially, the habits and the character and the playbook we ran seem to be like everybody wants to be in the ruling party. Only a few political leaders demonstrated discipline over the years to be in opposition. Among them, of course, is the president now, and the late immediate past president, President Muhammadu Buhari, who showed discipline of staying in opposition. When a party is in government, even from 1999 when Obasanjo won, the first thing that occurs to a leader is to be leader of all and not want to be too hostile at first in forming cabinets. In 1999, you must remember that a significant number of top stakeholders from the other parties joined that cabinet. One of the big ones that help you to see what I'm trying to show you is the late former Attorney General of the country, Chief Bola Ige. Very much an AD man, very much an Awolowo man, but he served as Attorney General.
In a PDP government.
In the PDP government that is clearly not of the same ilk. And we continued that model. By the time we got to 2003, when we're going to do the next election of President Obasanjo, a lot of people had moved into the PDP then. And that stayed so until we got to 2011, 2015, when we began to see that the trajectory of the ruling party always winning the election, and a lot of people who want to be president and so many other things they want to be, now looking for platform, began to morph into another opposition. They became successful in 2015 when Muhammadu Buhari became president by an amalgamation of two strong opposition leader, Bola Tinubu and him, and a lot of people who don't stay in one place, who joined them and formed that government. By the time we got to 2019, it was clear that a lot of people, a lot of politicians wanted that party. But anyway, 2023 was the best opportunity we had at having politicians be on equally divided platform for election purposes. Some people stayed in the PDP-backed Atiku, some stayed in APC-backed the president, the president, and some obviously did an outlier situation with Peter Obi in Labour Party. For me, that was the opportunity for us to have at least three, if you like, equal political energy. But what happened next? Those who ordinarily should know that they have a duty to build their own parties, now began to look for another party. So in the process, some of them, all of the issues of PDP and all of the challenges of how we manage democratic governance here from the point of view of party meant that the PDP was and is no longer that platform that anybody could easily be happy to go challenge it. The biggest problem that the PDP has is the legal contraption that reflects a risk that you may not be able to produce candidates. If you think about it, they're going to run an election in Abuja, and the PDP has not been listed. They're going to run an election in Ekiti. The PDP has not been listed. The same in Osho. So there's no way anybody who wants to run an election will not be thinking, where do I go?
Right.
Now, if the other people had been stable over the years, people would have kind of like gone to them. But unfortunately, a lot of people who are quite unstable in terms of party management and party loyalty have created an amalgamation of angry people who are looking for a platform or contest. So some people are not interested in that. So you can see a lot of them now moving to the line of best and easy fit, which is the ruling party. So when people say the president is the one making them come, I don't buy that lazy excuse. I mean, the PDP, I've been in the PDP, and the president has not made me come to his party yet, even though I kind of like know him and I sort of understand where he's going with policy. So the answer to the question strictly is that our politics is undergoing a flux, and we do not know how it will eventually settle. If the ruling party succeeds in winning the election by this amalgamation of all of those forces, powerful and important strategic forces that have dovetailed into it, we're going to run into a scenario where the best thing that models what we'll be doing will probably be China, in the sense that there will be one ruling party that is very big, and there will be smaller parties that may not be able to pull that kind of strong challenge. Let's see, but I don't think even the ruling party, I don't think they are paying attention to what's happening the way they should. You see, I always say PDP is the University of Democratic Party Management in Nigeria, because there's nothing else to follow except the playbook of PDP. And the kinds of things that has made PDP to become the way it is, even if the ruling party is not careful, they will implode. And one of the things that can implode them is that, how do you even accommodate the election desires of people who are now big, have enough money, have enough resources, and you have only one ticket? How do you accommodate them? And with time, you're going to find out that some of them you can persuade, some of them you can bully, some of them you can patronize, but some of them you will not be able to find any way to manage them. And eventually, if you're not very careful, you're going to implode it. So I pray and I hope that that's one of the reasons why I started the alternative, actually. Right. I started the alternative that we may begin to revisit and question this motive. And hopefully we can then create a new generation of people who want the best for their country, or who even want to participate. And then we can see how far we can go. And I stopped short of offering it for registration now, because I didn't want it to pollute the environment as it is. Too many political parties, all of them jostling to be with the president. So I thought, okay, let's just play whatever game we can play now. And after 2027 is done and dusted, we can look at it, and then we may be able to create an alternative political party that has some strong ideology that can carry us. Today in Nigeria today, the party that has the strongest verifiable ideological underpinning is actually the Labour Party, because it resembles the Labour Party everywhere in the world.
Including the UK.
Everywhere in the world, in Brazil, anywhere you have a Labour Party, there is an understanding that this is a welfareist party that is supposed to look at the big middle.
Right.
But if I ask you, what's the ideological underpinning of the ADC, you'll probably be looking for so many words to explain what even you do. If I ask you, what's the ideological underpinning of the PDP, originally, the ideological underpinning of PDP was a conservative party that was pro-business, less of government and business and what have you. But if you look at it, the APC has morphed so much. They are so private sector driven that you don't even know where they are socialist or welfareist or progressive.
It's somewhere in between.
It's wrong. So the point I'm making is that the parties in the country are no longer parties strictly. They're just election contest platforms. And if that is what we have become, then we'll have to live with the consequences of what we have.
I think Juma has a question.
Now let's talk about corruption. Now we know that corruption remains a major obstacle in development. Now, do you think it's an institutional failure or a leadership failure?
Well, I think that the thing is that for a very long time, I've always followed the conversation around corruption and how much of a role corruption plays in all of the things we do here. I think we over-glamorize the topic.
Okay.
Yes, there are issues here, but we have a lot of institutions that ordinarily should mitigate against that. The only thing that we have done to ourselves is that we talk about it a lot, but we don't have the courage to apply the books. We don't have the courage to apply consequence. Because really, if you are not a governor and you are not a president, you are not exempt. So even if you are corrupt, they can arrest you, try you midway. Even if you are a governor or a president and you are corrupt, you would eventually leave 4 years, 8 years. You can also be released for corrupt. But you see, when you imagine that we tend to be interested in the corruption conversation, but we're not interested in the application of the consequence. There are too many former this, former that who are roaming around who should really be in prison. And you can't be sensationalizing and politicizing the conversation to such a point that people can start pointing a finger. Oh, the people that are with APC are free. The people that are not with you are not free. That's not how to fight corruption. If you want to fight corruption, assuming we desire that we want to fight corruption, we need to get to the point where we say, okay, this thing has gone on for too long. We need to draw a line and we need to say never again would we allow this to happen without serious consequences. And it will require us to clean up our investigation and evidence-taking process, which is best done by the police, really. And then it will also require us to get our judges to be aware that anytime a public officer comes before them for corruption, they should have zero sympathy for him. Punish him immediately because he's enjoyed too many privileges. Now that he has his day before the court, he shouldn't be treated with kid's glove. Once we agree that that's the new ethos, within a year or two, we'll be out of all of these issues.
But we know that most corruption cases are either swept under the carpet or there's always
Exactly the point
a
I'm
large,
making.
there's always a large news about it, and the next thing you know, we don't hear about it anymore. So what do you think, with what you've said now, the way forward is, like you said, no one is exempted from the law, but is it just all about that? Or there's a lot of work that needs to be done?
I think that we, the people too, the citizens, the traditional institutions, the churches, the mosques, everybody, we have a role to play. We can shame them. Nobody has told us that if somebody is corrupt, we need to be relating with them. We can ostracize them. We can take a position that, look, Mr. Man, until you get yourself out of your corrupt thing, you are not my brother from now.
Really?
But we can do that. Nobody's going to stop us from doing that. We can reorientate ourselves that if he's corrupt, I can't be protecting because it's from my tribe, or it's my brother, or it's my friend, or it's my church. We can't be giving them traditional titles. If we're giving you a traditional title and you have been indicted with corruption, we should be able to write you a letter that you no longer can carry our title pending the time. There has to be, collective desire to say enough. Other nations can be making progress and we will have promise and not make progress. Nigeria is a nation where all of the citizens, every damn one of us, the one in the back parlor, the one in the church, the one in the house, the market woman, the politician, we all have something in common. And that is that we have the belief that more and better is possible. So that means that it remains for us to now internalize what our own role is in creating that better. And if we want to fight corruption, then we can all fight corruption together. And we can also insist that when there's a corruption issue on the table, we're not going to sensationalize it. We're going to be very serious about it. We're going to be very firm about it. And we're going to be saying, what are the issues, and we're going to stick with them. We can't be excited about other people's issues. America has done something, we're excited, we're even more interested. Oh, they've done something in Venezuela, we're very excited.
Exactly.
But yet, we're very unexcited in our own case. And even when we talk about the ones in our country, we talk about it from the point of view of maybe tribal bigotry, or we just self-hate ourselves. We're not clinical and professional. We have converted our country into a country of skits. All we do is skit about everything.
But that's the fastest way to make money in this country.
Yeah.
There's so much unemployment.
I understand.
Engage young ones.
I understand, but you have to. I understand, but there's something I need to let you know that you see, nations are constantly in the process of projecting their story. If we now have a platform that allows us to do the same, we must be very intentional and very responsible about saying that we are the most populous black nation in the world. Our duty is to also promote ourselves. We cannot have foreign and international conspiracies so deep against. I mean, somebody telling me that Mongo Park discovered River Niger. Bloody hell, River Niger has been there for millennia. Our people have been drinking, sleeping, bathing water. Are you the one? So now we have an opportunity to kind of like rewrite our own story. To say this is who we are, this is where we are, this is our culture, this is our tribe, this is our food and all that. And all of us must chip in. You know why?
Why?
No other body is going to help us advertise who we are. And we live here.
Right.
We can't accept the narrative that nothing good is happening in our country. Look at how beautiful you guys are looking. And you're still in Nigeria. And I think I'm not doing too badly. So when people come and tell us that our country is a shithole, we should be able to say, no, you can't say that to us. Your country is not any better. And we should be able to prove to them that their country is not better. Because everywhere you go, you see enough riots in their country that you sometimes even wonder, why do these guys brag so much? They're not all that.
But again, I mean, now that you have raised that, we're going to circle back to politics in a bit. Maybe talk about you too as a politician. But in the meantime, our foreign policy, I mean, look at you talking about how we had been called asshole country by President Trump the other time and all of that. Something that we're still trying to recover from. And prior to that, a former British Prime Minister had said, we're fantastically corrupt. What does that say about how we relate with the rest of the world, about our foreign policy, how we react to big events across the world, including, for example, what has just happened in Venezuela?
Okay, well, the thing is that, to be fair, the people that are leading now, including the president, as far as I'm concerned, I've always said to them, you can't lead. The only thing you guys need to do is determine the stabilization of how this country will progress, knowing fully well that you were aware of how it was meant to be based on age. You no longer have the limbs, you no longer have the heart, you no longer have the grit, you no longer even have the intellect to do this thing. So just settle the housekeeping issues. Are we running the united country? Are we fragmenting it? Are we running the parliamentary? Let's just finish that, and then we can go and lead. Because if we were being led by people who understood what needed to happen, a significant amount of effort would have been put into rebranding the country, repurposing the country, reorientating the citizen, and letting them understand that every time you stand up, you are representing not just yourself, you are representing the entire race.
True.
You are representing Africa. Because look at it. You can show example of how well the Chinese and the Asians have done in the last 40, 50 years. You can show example of how well the Arabs have done in the last 50 years. You can show example of how much has happened in Europe and America, including the destruction in the last 50 years. What's going to be the story of Africa? So who's going to tell the story of Africa? Are we going to share one heaven with all of the people on the earth, and then we're going to accept that our own responsibility here is just to be clapping for them when they are doing well and be accepting that we're not doing well? And we're not doing as badly as that. We're just not looking at the small increases in our own development. How many kilometers of road did we have in 1999? How many did we have now? How many hospitals did we have? How many did we have now? How many of you people could even buy a proper suit in 1999? How many can now? How many of the people travel out of the country in 1999? How many can now? How many houses did we buy and have in 1999? How many did we have now? How many houses had a sewage in 1999? How many? So you can't accept the narrative that others are doing well, but you're not. Because the reality of the matter is that you're actually doing well, albeit you're not doing as well as you would have loved to do.
Right.
And so all the things that even color it is actually media. You're looking at a film from America, they are putting all the drama to and the dramaturgy to it, and it's looking so proper. Is that how they live every day? You're looking at their CNN and all their big media, they're talking about other people's country. Is that how they live every day? So you need to know that if other nations are projecting the best of themselves, we have a duty to project the best of ourselves. But it's not just government. It's you people, it's all of us together. We need to stop thinking that we're going to run a big nation, the most populous black nation in the world. We're going to run it on the basis of, oh, you're Hausa, you're Igbo, you're Yoruba. You can't run it like that. You need to, the people in charge, they need to get serious about telling people in the country that this concept of bigotry as a way of life has to stop. People need to be punished for inciting people. We run a country that I believe is a global coalition, and it's only beautiful because everybody is part of it. I don't believe that there's one part of Nigeria that is better off than the other. There might be small challenges because of mismanagement of leadership in certain areas without consequence, but that does not mean that they're totally useless. Everybody brings something to the table. It's like being a father of a polygamous home with plenty wives and many children. Which of them do you want to die? None. You want the one that is doing well to keep doing well. You want the one that is pulling his way to do well. That's how you're supposed to see your country. You're supposed to see Nigeria as, wow, so we are the most populous black nation in the world. Then we have a responsibility to represent the Africans well. And you can't represent anyone well until you represent yourself well. If you cannot love others, truly you cannot truly love yourself. Because your heart will be too bitter and sees only things that are not good in others. I always say to people, develop beautiful eyes. What beautiful eyes does is that it makes you see the good in others. You will see the things that are wrong too, but you correct it mildly. You will be a little bit conscious of the fact that you need to be sensitive to people. And you can't run a nation of bigotry or a bunch of idiots that go over the place just shaming their country and yet saying they want to lead it. If you hate the country so much, you can't lead it.
Right.
If you despise the country so much, you can't lead it. If everything they do in the country, nothing works and nothing should work in your mind, you can't lead it. You can never lead a nation with anger or hatred or pulling it down. Every time you need to lead a nation, you need to bring hope to the table, because hope transcends everything. Everybody wakes up every day, and sometimes it's not a good day. Sometimes it's a good day, but you have to always get up every morning believing that the next day will be better.
Let's delve a bit on insecurity matters.
Oh, God.
Now, the intervention, let's say the interference, will I say, of the United States coming into Nigeria, do you think this has actually equipped our leaders to take security more seriously when it comes to trying to nip it in the bud now?
We have been dealing with a problem that is not very easy to solve, and it doesn't go away easily. Other nations have also had these experiences. For instance, the United Kingdom had to deal with IRA, Irish Republican Army, Sinn Féin, for years. And it took years and years and years and years before they could get out of it. Spain dealt with the Basque separatist movement for years, and it took years. Even Turkey dealt with the Kurdish movement, the PKK, for years. So the thing I'm saying is that radicalization is a very difficult thing to deal with in the nation because it touches their faith. And faith is not really tangible. Faith is hoping things unseen. Now, if you people get radicalized as a result of faith, the first thing you need to ask yourself is that if they had a better life, would they be so mad? If they could eat, they could feed, they could drive a car, they could have a good house. So you need to figure out, you need to deal with poverty. Then you need to say that, how do they even get radicalized? You need to look at their clerics. You need to be able to tell people that, listen. Believe whatever you believe, but you can't teach this in my country.
Right.
Believe whatever you believe, you can't preach this in my country. Believe whatever you believe, you can't. So it means your security infrastructure must be nimble enough to stop it. Then if you say your country is a secular nation, like we say, Nigeria is a secular nation. You have allowed the penal code and the Sharia to manage certain elements, but you must ensure that those two can never override the secularity of a nation. You can't have a country where people are cutting people's hands because of things that no longer matter. You can't have a country where people are stoning people to death anymore. The world is not going to reflect on it nicely. And when you now have a situation where you're having insurgency, they're colorizing it, they are ethnicizing it, you all are allowing them. The CIA fact book says there are about 50 million Fulanis living in Nigeria, ethnic pure Fulanis. Are you going to say that all of them are bad people? But when you keep shouting, Fulani headsmen, what do you think is going to happen? When you start saying, oh, they go to Benue and something happens, and say, oh, they did it because they're Christian, but forgetting that they did some stuff in the northeast and the northwest and all of that too. Yet you're screaming that it's because of the faith. What do you expect? And the whole world cannot be listening to the optics of the narrative. Oh, there's a problem in Nigeria. They keep people to death. There will come a time when somebody is going to say enough. And when they say enough, the global power, especially as now invested in the United States and Donald Trump, is strong enough to insist that we're not going to allow this. if they can go into another man's country, pick up their president from underneath their nose, put him in cuff and took him to America and even brag about it, then that's difficult because there's a moral burden there.
Right.
They don't have any moral burden in trying to say they want to stop people killing. That's why you see Britain is not going to say anything, France is not going to say anything, nobody's going to say anything because truly and sincerely, we have been struggling too much with it. But if we wanted it to stop, it's down to us. It's just, they're our sons, they're our daughters, they're our brothers. All they have to make up their mind is that, okay, we need to stop now.
Let's take a break. I mean, let's do a quick assessment of President Bola Tinubu administration. I mean, a while ago, you talked about how that you're beginning now to understand the direction of the president's policies. I mean, you and I spoke at the twilight of 2023. We spoke again in 2024. I mean, the president has been in the saddle for upwards of 2 years now. Has your assessment changed?
You know, I tell you what, the Bola Tinubu administration for me always leaves me a little bit somber. Somber in the sense that I get what they are trying to do, really. I truly get what they are trying to do. You can't bleed money and say you are paying subsidy. You don't even have the money to keep
In the first place.
So, as a matter of necessity, common sense says it's over. The Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria does not give any president the power to dictate to a state government how to spend his money.
Right.
And that same constitution does not give any power to the federal government to tell a local government that is under the state how to spend his money.
But you can put them to order.
Okay. Listen now, I hate to be their spokesperson, but I'm not. And every time I try to educate our people think I'm looking for a job from them. What job do they have that I can be interested in, really? I just want us to have a country that works. The thing on the table is that, you see, it was all part of making sure that we get what we want. That forced the federal government of Bola Tinubu to go to the Supreme Court to get an order and a judgment that says local government gets your money. It's a desperate act to make sure that that money gets to them. It's also a desperate act that makes the president say to governors, you guys, you have appointed local government, give them their money. If you don't give them their money, I'll bring an executive order, I'll start paying. Now, the point I'm making is, we should not be a people who don't know where the service we are looking for is. We can't make it a habit of clapping for our governors or pretending we can't see them. We can't make it a habit of not being interested in our local government. And all of us across the board is screaming on the head of one president. You know what that does? What it does is that because Nigeria is a multi-ethnic, multi-tribal country, the voice and the tone of voice and the adjective used by people of that are not his tribe, which are going to be plenty anyway, whether it's a Buhari, whether it's a Showunmi, whether it's a Bola Tinubu, whoever he is, will be too loud. And then what that one will do is that will then send an maybe unintended impression to the people of his tribe that they got to be a pushback. Why do we want to run our country like this? Every state is empowered by law to make the laws and adjudicate and spend the money for its own people. Every local government is also empowered. What the problem we have in the country is, I tell you without kidding you, in Nigeria, and it has been so for some time, except for the time of the parliamentary system, Nigeria, the most effective and hardest working organ of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is the vice president, is the federal. They're the ones that will be thinking, oh, how do we give them free education? Oh, how do we give them free health? Oh, how do we give them school feeding program? Those things ordinarily should never be their business. But because they see that human beings are living in states and local government are collecting their money, your governors are buying private jets, they are marrying Arab women, they are doing all sorts of things. You see them every day in all of the capitals of the world, in Dubai, in London, spending money like it's going out of fashion, and you think that the president can stop it. The law does not allow the president not to release their money. When he releases their money to them, what do you think, those of you that are the citizens of that environment, what do you call your duty? What's the duty of your stakeholders? What's the duty of you, the young people? We still ask them, Mr. Man, what are you doing with our money? What is the budget? And when he finishes his tenure, and they start inviting him to EFCC and all that, you people again are going to start shouting, they are victimizing him, they are victimizing him. How do you want us to build a great nation if we don't even agree that everybody should do their duty?
Okay, we're going to take a quick break at this point, Segun. But when we return, we'll be looking at political issues. First of all, starting from the opposition front and looking at what it means as we head towards the 2027 general election cycle. Do stay with us. So I'd like to ask you, are you still a member of the PDP?
Yes, I am.
Is this the PDP?
I'll be extremely frustrated. I'll be extremely frustrated. Listen, is there PDP? There is. And I think PDP will live or die after the Court of Appeal. It's mortally injured now. Mortally injured. But if the Court of Appeal, and I beg the justice of the Court of Appeal, I beg you, hurry up with the judgment. If the Court of Appeal comes with a judgment and says, this is the position, then at least they stop digging. Anybody that wants to leave can leave. The ones that are there, we can then, rally around and continue. Will the PDP be able to win 2023, 27? I think it's too late. But will they survive? They will. But if the Court of Appeal does not hurry up with the judgment and the Supreme Court does not finish it on time, and they get ourselves into a position where we are now not able to produce candidates, that's it. The PDP is dead, because the law of the country says you must at least win one ward before you can be registered, and that means it to go out of. But if that is the fate of the party, what else am I supposed to do? You all saw me lying on the ground begging for that they should take it easy with themselves. There's nothing they've done that has happened to them that have been directly. There's nothing they needed to hear that they've not been told by me. There's nothing that needs to happen that have not been done, and so we're going to now have to ask. If the party of Obafemi Awolowo can die, that of Nnamdi Azikiwe can die, that of Aminu Kano can die, that of Azili Ibrahim can die. These are men that were men of ideas at that generation. Who are the people that started PDP? It's not people like Obasanjo that ended up tearing their card. Whatever problem you see in the PDP game, go and look in his direction, because he was the one who desired a situation where the president is the leader of the party, the governor is the leader of the party, and before you know what else happening, see the mess we have created. If you know what politics ought to be, the leadership of the party must be shared by a group of people who have risen to that gravitas. And if one person comes and says he wants to be governor, and he begs and lobbies and they give him the ticket, that can never make him their leader the next day in the morning. That's where you destroyed the democratic institution we have now.
Do you believe that the PDP was never ready or prepared for a opposition role in the country?
If the PDP had not been prepared for opposition, they could not have done 2 elections back to back and come second. I believe very seriously that the election that we did in 2019, with due respect, we were rigged. That I know. That we won that election, but we couldn't really get it.
But you don't think same of 2023?
No. 2023 we lost. Well, no. The man who is in the villa won. I don't believe in self-delusion that makes you say, "Oh, I won what you didn't win." How did you win? Even the one that likes to scream, we made a glitch, go and look at the numbers of the votes they produce from a section of the country. Is it realistic to say that one political party will go to one section of the country and just take 90%, whereas everywhere else you went to, people gave votes to parties? That's a joke now. Let them go and try to 2027. Let's see who's going to allow them that kind of leeway to be misbehaving. Look, elections are serious events.
Right.
Most politicians, not me, they like to build the next election on the assumption of the last election. No, that's not it.
Doesn't work like that.
No. Every election here is like going to the tailor. You have to measure it afresh. You have to measure it afresh because the fundamentals are not the same. The personalities driving it are not the same. The mood of the economy of the nation is not the same. The gravitas is not the same. The pathway is not the same. The playbook is not the same. The communication strategy is not the same. The mood of the country itself is not the same. So when you I almost got it last time. That's what destroyed PDP. When we lost in 2015, I remember very clearly. I did say you cannot rebuild the party with the consciousness with which you destroyed it. You need to let us go back to the basics and build afresh. But you know what? They thought it was a dash, that they would hold their breath and just jump into the sea. But it's a marathon. How long can you hold your breath? So we go to 2019. The back line that should have carried us fluttered and we lost. Then when we got to 2023, they just thought it didn't matter, whatever anybody like, let them go to blazes, the ticket is now, and the result was what? Still the same loss. And now they're going about it again in the most, embarrassing way. Take the agency. Some of them are good materials if you know them privately. But how do you even want to couple together excessively ambitious people on a platform? How do you even couple them together?
So you saying jealousy is dead or rival?
Look, man, I don't want to be a prophet of doom. But the fact of the matter is that the first question they will have on the timetable is, how do you even pick
the candidate?
Now they will tell you there will be a primaries. Is it not the same attitude you carried into PDP primaries that made people to become so sore after the primaries that they could not even work for you, that you people have carried into that place? Then
maybe they have a different mindset now.
Listen, I'm the politician here. Let me tell you what's on the table.
Okay.
Every damn one of them thinks that they are the best material to win. And every damn one of them thinks they are the entitled one to win. And every damn one of them believes that they're going to win. And every damn one of them believes it's presidency or nothing. The only human being in their midst that is even a little bit sane in my mind is Nasser El-Rufai. Because he's the only one that's not even screaming, I have to be president now. So, okay. All the others,
maybe they want to take you by surprise. Maybe they're all going to come together.
I'm not in the APC. There's nothing like taking me by surprise.
Okay, take Nigerians by surprise. We feel maybe they're going to share this power. Someone wants to be president-wise.
Let me educate you.
Because this is the notion. What you have now is the notion of most Nigerians that feel that everyone wants to become president in the ADC. Maybe they have a different mindset in playing things.
I can guarantee you, I know them more than I know them like the back of my hand. I can write a book on each of them. A whole book. I'll put chapters on why they cannot be. And I can write a book if I want, okay, maybe this one, these are they're not them. The point is that you can't, in the very first instance, if you wanted to run a new political base in 2027, after 2023 election, why was it necessary for you to go and carry money, buy the chairman of an existing party? You bought him. I can tell you how much, but I won't tell you now. You bought him. That smart crook took the money. He didn't let it go down, and suddenly you have two executives. There's one executive which you bought and is masquerading as the leader, and then there are the other people who are putting all their structures, who are there.
That's the Mr. Gombe faction.
Because they are the owners of their party. You can't just come to the table and say, we have national. How did you arrive at that? The whole idea is that you do your wards. From your ward, you do local government, you do states, and until you get to national. You people just went because of their very lazy and extremely irritating way of not wanting to do the hard work. They went to carry money and procured the chairmanship from some guy. They didn't even bother reading the books. You know what is in the books? The book says, ADC Constitution says, expressly written in black and white, if you remove the chairman, you must replace him from his zone. Ralph Wosu is from where? He's from the southeast. Where is their own chairman from? So now they're going to run into legal issues. They will deceive themselves and give themselves a clever interpretation that the Supreme Court says don't interfere. But the Supreme Court says that if me and you start stabbing ourselves, we can't take ourselves to court. Okay, so now they will be in court. Now when they get to court now, all of that will dilute the issues. They've written a letter. I read something about, where is Malami from?
So Kebbi State.
Kebbi State. I read somewhere in Kebbi they are telling you not to use their platform, not to this, not to... See, in 2023 when they lost, what was a better way to create a new organization? It was for them to start from scratch. But they like a lot of moo to the answer. It is the type of attitude that will make them live, for want of a better example, Party A today, jump into Party B and one ticket. If they don't get it, jump into Party C. If they don't get, that's the same attitude they are carrying.
I'm surprised they have not mentioned the former Vice President, Segun.
Have I mentioned anybody's name?
No, I mean, you mentioned El-Rufai, for example.
When I said El-Rufai, with due respect, and please, Nasser has his own issues. The thing is that he's the only one among them that I have not heard him say he wants to be president. He cannot but have that ambition somewhere in his body. Whether you like it, even if he doesn't say it, it must be there. But for him not to be saying it now it means that he's the only one that has a sane head on top of his shoulder that can look at what they really need to do. Every other person wants to be president. And if you want to be president and you want to take the structure of the party, there's a way you angle. Even the one that will not like to participate in the primary says he wants to be president in a party like that. How are you going to run it? So anyway, before they say, I don't want them to succeed, I wish them the very best or whatever they wish themselves. But you see, the leopard can never change its spots. It will be there. It will be the pulse of the blood always there. So they will excite the Nigerian people. They'll probably put some minions on social media to be insulting everybody. But when the chiefs are down, elections will be run, boots on ground in polling units, in wards, in governors and all that. And if governors don't matter, assuming governors don't matter, right, by the time we get to that election, they will understand that governors matter.
No, I know you're a card-carrying member of the PDP.
Till tomorrow, painfully so. Painfully so.
No problem, no problem. Now, APC to Wike do not bring the spirit of PDP into
serves him right.
So, but first, do you agree that there's a spirit in the PDP?
That spirit of PDP is the spirit that is driving participatory grassroots politics in Nigeria. It's
really?
Also, listen now, every other political party in Nigeria don't know the concept of primaries. They back orders and everybody follows. PDP gives enough space for people to fight, quarrel, struggle, contest and all that. That's democratic. It's getting a little bit too much because too much of everything is bad. But you cannot compare a political party where you can hopefully follow an ambition and it will not be against the law of their party that you are following the ambition. You can't compare the political party that will say even their immediate past national secretary is not qualified to participate in the governorship primary. That's madness now. So it's their style. It may work for them, but nobody can insult us because we are trying to be democratic. And whatever you see in PDP, Madam, Mr., is the microcosm of the attitude of the Nigerian people. Serve Wike right in the sense that when he became the minister of FCT, I did say, we have lost one of our best generals. When the issues were not going away, I then said he needs to make up his mind. You have demonstrated capacity in our opponent's camp. If you want to hold the party and want to provide leadership here, you need to come back. Now, he's not come back. Now, he's, if you like, his boy, if you like, for want of a better word, the one he supported, let me not call him boy. With due respect, the governor of his state has now gone to APC.
Yes, Similaye.
Okay, so that means that if it is so, Similaye does not need Nyesom Wike to influence, manage, or give him tickets. That's a very serious problem. Now Wike suddenly now is in a situation where he can't make up his mind. There's always a time to draw the line now.
So you think he missed that line?
Well, it's not too late. He has to make up his mind what way, because I don't understand how he can possibly think that a political party that he is not a part of will relinquish the management of their party to him. However, is in their government. When Bola, your blessed memory, was serving as the Almighty Attorney General of Nigeria, did they tell him that Bola was interfering in PDP meetings? You can't do that. You have to be a card-carrying party member before you can even be interfering in the meeting. Then, when you want to interfere in a party, would you not know the culture of that party? Is the culture of the APC the type of party where people interfere? The APC is a political party where authority flows from it. It's a style. It's not exactly.
And it seems to be working for them.
It's for now. They've not even ruled the country for 16 years. We led for 16 years. So they have been there now for 8 plus 2.5, maybe less than 10. Not up to 11. By May to be 11. Are you going to be comparing the skeleton, the dead bodies, and they've saying in only 10 years compared to what we managed for 16 years, and even successfully transferred power to another democratically elected other party? We're not their mates. They are still learning work.
Really?
But they are learning work. We are only looking at the fact that they are in charge today. We were in charge for 16 years. We We created giants, we created champions, we gave the world to Kojuela, we gave the world Akim Mishola, we gave the world a lot of stars. What are they doing? They are putting together a caricature of human beings that ordinary school prefects, they will not give them in their school. You are making them as ministers and ambassadors. You are sending extremely destabilizing elements. You are pushing them before the Nigerian people to go and represent Nigeria, not you. If you want to make somebody your essay, that's your business. But when you want to make somebody an ambassador of Nigeria, he must be someone that does not make the situation in the country worse. So, listen. We concede the presidency to them because they are there now. I've even told you that I see some of the ideas and the vision of what he's trying to do. But hey, when it comes to grassroots party management, we are still their boss. They will never have ward meetings. You will never hear them that they had a ward meeting. You will never hear them that they want to do part, they are doing primaries. They will just gather themselves in one room, one people say, this is the person we choose. Everybody say, hey, is that normal? Even when you have, if you have ever done any competition, including maybe just trying to be the social prefect of your town association, don't people contest it? Okay, when somebody backs another and somebody does not agree, in their own case, they never go to court. Are they not zombies? So they may win, but they cannot claim that they have our political credential. We are a proper political party.
So if the weakest faction were to win in courts, eventually, would you still be in the PDP?
How can I leave my party because they won or lost in court? The essential thing is that they should let us settle housekeeping issues. The reason is that if we don't resolve that issue, people who want to contest will not be able to, because of the very unfortunate clause in the 2022 electoral. When they wrote that clause, I was not comfortable. What was the clause? For you to produce candidates in any political party, the chairman and the secretary must sign. By just that singular clause, they have created another toll gate for politicians. When the chairman says he wants to go left, we will now have to be crying and praying that the secretary does not want to go right, you know. But hey, that's the law. Now, if you go to the court of appeal and the court of appeal says this is the ESCO or this is the position, at least we know that even if we are going to lose, we can run election on those platforms. But nobody will wait in the political party that will now come and say you don't have candidate and if they want to contest. And those who are going to the APC, don't blame them. Do you know how long I've been suffering in PDP since 1998? If the APC said, well, yeah, please now, let's do it together, we'll improve our democracy. Why not?
So if you approach you with the same offers that has been made to these other politicians, would you jump at it?
I am a very principled person. And I've also said it before, that if I'm going to back the president, that's President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I'll find it extremely offensive to stay in a different party and be backing him.
So you move all the way.
So I'll have to go all the way. Or there's also a simple position. I can sit on the fence. I can be non-committal. I can let him go and do his presidential election anyhow he knows. And I can go and do whatever I want to do anyhow he knows. After he wins his presidency, the world is not going to come to an end now. Buhari did 8 years, is the world didn't come to an end. What is Bola Tinubu 8 years? What is he going to do other than what he's doing?
Well, let me ask a question though. With all of these tussles here and there with the PDP, do you think there's still, will I say, quote unquote, a light at the end of the tunnel for PDP?
It's only because you don't know how the back end and the grassroots of PDP is. It's unfortunate that at the topmost echelon of PDP, they are frustrating their rank and file. There is no household you go to in Nigeria today that you say PDP, that they won't answer in power to the people.
Incidentally, I'm afraid that's the much time we allow stake. When we engage you here, it's almost an endless conversation.
Oh, it's always a pleasure around you guys. Happy New Year, guys. Happy New Year. Thank you so much. Again. I like the way we flow.
Oh,
yeah, sure we will.
We will.
All right, that's why we're leaving this conversation, everyone. We want to thank Segun Showunmi for making our time to come share these very valuable insights regarding Nigeria's development with us on the program this morning. Remember that the views of our guests are their opinions. I'm Uyi Agbofwewe.
And I am Jumai Manson. Thank you all so much for being a part of the program. Have an amazing day ahead. And thank you to our guests once again.
Totally my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Bye-bye.